This is Kurt. That's Raul. Wow, this is sound like Kirkland.
This is the flag I'm now loyal to.
Last June, we got our marriage license right here.
I am defined by gay people my entire life.
What I think this rally is really about is reminding the rest of the country that the fight isn't over.
So Debbie, what do you have to say about the Supreme Court's decision? How do you feel about the comparisons with the civil rights movement?
Union is not enough! We demand marriage!
When an entire group can see its hopes and dreams stripped away by the will of an intolerant majority, that is not justice. We shall prevail! We shall prevail! We shall prevail!
You're watching a presentation of RK Entertainment and the defeat of Proposition 8 and the Supreme Court's decision. The crowds are beginning to gather for a march. We're watching a presentation of RK Entertainment, Proposition 8, and the vote by the Supreme Court.
When do we demand it? Now! No justice, no hate! No justice, no hate! No justice, no hate!
So Debbie, what do you have to say about the Supreme Court's decision?
Well, I think we're all here because we're appalled, and we figure if our government won't support everybody, then the community wants to. I mean, I think especially we as entertainers, you know, who am I kidding? Even if I wasn't an entertainer, I'd be here. But I think especially, you know, I know for me, I've been embraced by the gay community my whole life, and I just wanted to come show support.
What do you think about the comparisons with the civil rights movement?
I mean, unfortunately, you know, you wouldn't think that there would be anything resembling the civil rights movement in 2009, but it is true. I mean, it's just basic human rights being taken away from people, and I don't know how any government officials have the right to say what a family is. You know, I mean, I've seen a lot of beautiful families around here today. Maybe not traditional in some people's eyes, but...
Do you think we're at the point of an economic boycott? Is that too severe at this moment?
Oh my goodness, I hadn't thought about that. I will think about it.
We're just thinking about equality right now.
What about you, Sally? What do you...
Well, I am angry, you know, but we'll call it, I'm challenged to the max by this decision. I got to marry some girlfriends of mine November 1st, you know them. I'm slated to marry these two guys as a reverend. And 18,000 people get to stay married, and everyone else with their dreams has to sit in this mess. And I just find it amazing that California, the most liberal state of all, is backwards right now.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Obama in regards to all of this?
Obama, get involved with us.
Yeah, Obama, you know, I think a lot of people feel like you are the young hope of this country right now. So if it comes from you, people will listen.
And Martin Luther King and Abraham Lincoln would definitely fight for freedom of rights, civil rights. Yeah.
Thank you.
Up in the 60s. What we did was we marched and marched and marched and marched. In those days it was with Martin Luther King, and it was with Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin throwing money over the stock exchange. But we didn't stay inside. We were out in the streets until we got the government to acknowledge that Vietnam was ridiculous and that segregation was ridiculous and that gay rights should be. And I lived on Christopher Street, so Stonewall was part of my history.
White, gay, straight, black, white.
You're watching a presentation of RK Entertainment in conjunction with West Hollywood Public Access, and I'm here with Daryl Stevens. Daryl, can you tell me how you feel about the Supreme Court's decision today?
Honestly, we kind of knew this was going to be the case. I think most of us understood that this ruling was more an issue of the legality of the process that took place in November. So what I think this rally is really about is reminding the rest of the country that the fight isn't over. We're not done working on this issue, and we're just going to show numbers and solidarity today.
Daryl, let me ask you something. Do you feel that this issue is in comparison to the civil rights movement? How do you feel about that? People making those type of comments.
Well, this is a civil rights. I think that the civil rights movement of the 60s, the African American civil rights movement, was obviously a different experience. I think that this movement, if it's when we start to get our stuff to really get it together, I think we will be mirroring a lot more of what the Black civil rights movement involved. We still haven't quite figured. I mean, we're in the middle of West Hollywood, which I understand most of us came here because we, the press, would be here, and this would be where we'd be able to represent with members. But we still need to be working on going out to those communities who are not already behind us. We really need to be showing our faces and talking to people who are outside of this community. And I think that's what the civil rights movement of the 60s did, and that's what we're going to have to do eventually.
Do you think that we should go to I'm talking specifically in the African American communities and Latino communities, going to the clergy and talking to them and making them more sympathetic to this cause?
Absolutely. I think this was depicted as a race issue early on when the proposition first passed. And what we've come to realize is it's really more of a religious issue. It has to do with the people who are more liable to be churchgoers are the ones who happen to vote against us, against the marriage equality. And I think it has to do with more misunderstanding than anything else. I don't think that it's really so much an issue of them hating gay people. I think the people who put this proposition together used a lot of misleading information, and they talked about the churches being taxed in ways that were unfair, essentially because of their beliefs. This is not so much about questioning or challenging people's beliefs. It's about giving American citizens equal rights. And I think the clergy people the clergymen, I would say, who have been against us are going to be hard. It's going to be hard to change their minds. But I think going to the people who are in the church and talking to them and actually explaining to them our position, I think, is going to be invaluable.
Do you think that maybe an economic boycott is in order now, or is that a little too severe at this moment?
Well,
maybe further down the line.
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like if I don't have the same rights my brother has, I shouldn't be paying the same taxes my brother is. And I don't know if this is the right time. I think what we really want to be showing the country is that we are respectful citizens and we deserve the same rights as everyone else. And I don't know if that type of protest is necessarily the right move at this point, but down the line, who knows?
Okay. Thank you, Daryl, for talking to us. I really appreciate it. Nice meeting you too.
Barrymore. With every step that we take, may it chip away at people who put these hurdles in our paths. I am defined by gay people my entire life. Children need families, people need to be in love, and we have to take steps forward, not backward. I want to live in a world where Prop 8 doesn't exist, and I ask these people the question, what defines a family? We do. Thank you. I'm honored to be in your presence. Thank you.
Where she fought for the rights of all of us to join a union. But tonight, as Norma Gay, I tell you, union is not enough. We demand marriage!
The presentation of RK Entertainment at the Supreme Court decision rally here in the city of West Hollywood on the corner of Santa Monica and San Vicente. A lot of important speeches here tonight, very moving, but a lot of references made to the civil rights movement. There's also talk of a possible boycott. You've been watching a presentation of RK Entertainment at the historic event, the Supreme Court decision here in beautiful West Hollywood. Thank you, VILLARAGOSA, and thank you to the city of West Hollywood.